Welcome back. It's the first Tuesday of the month, and that means it's time for another Chapter Chat. Joining me is Chris Warren, Director at the Dothan Houston County Library System. Chris, good morning.
Morning, Mia.
Well, tell us about this month's selection.
So February is Black History Month, so in honor of that, I thought we'd select a book that is a very special and unique book about the African American experience called Brown Girl Dreaming by Jaqueline Woodson.
And why did you choose this book to share with readers?
So this is a incredibly, I just said it's a very unique and very special book because it's actually a memoir in verse. So in other words, it's an autobiographical account of the author's childhood growing up in Ohio, Greenville, South Carolina, and later Brooklyn, New York. And it's all set in the 1960s and 1970s, so it's at the peak of the civil rights movement here in the United States. So all of her experiences with her faith, her family, her friends is all set against that backdrop. But it's as much about the history and that experience as it is about the author's experience with memory and storytelling, which sort of is a sort of thread woven in the latter half of the book.
And what would you say is the reading level for this book?
So it's written primarily for young adults, so anywhere between 9th and 10th grade on up, but I will say that this is a book that can appeal to a wide variety of audiences. I was very fortunate in that a previous library I worked for, we had this as a community read. We thought that it would appeal obviously to high school students, but it also appealed to a lot of the older residents in our community who actually lived through these experiences themselves and were able to reflect on their own experiences with civil rights and everything that was going on at that time in our nation's history.
Well, it sounds like a wonderful book. You know, oftentimes books can lead us to learn something or impact us in some way. Could you talk about what you hope that people will learn or take away from this book?
Sure. So obviously there's the historical elements and the autobiographical elements about Jaqueline Woodson's experiences, but I think one of the really interesting threads about this book is, like I was saying a minute ago, that thread about storytelling. As a child, she struggles in school, but eventually she finds that she has a real gift for writing and storytelling, which is of course appropriate because later she goes on in life to be a very successful writer and even win the National Book Award. And of course, being an autobiography and being about her childhood, it's a look back. And it's a look back over through some pretty troubling experiences, obviously. And the author kind of struggles with that notion of memory. But throughout the course of the book, she finds that memory can be a great tool for thinking about how we ourselves grow, for thinking about our past experiences and how they've made us who we are, and even empowering us to make different choices throughout our life as we grow up.
What a great message. And could you tell us more about the library system in case someone does want to check out this book?
Sure. So if anyone wants to check out this book, they just need to have a library card. And as long as you live, work, attend school, or own property anywhere in Dothan and Houston County, you can sign up for a library card at any one of our locations. We can also recommend other books by African American writers or other books about the African American experience as well.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.